All right, guys, a couple things I'm excited to talk to you about. One, obviously, the Nodus watches we have in front of us, the 3 current available sector series. So there's 4 total. I don't have the pilot here. They're out of stock on that, but they do have inventory on these guys right now, which this is the Sport, the Dive, and the Field. And we're going to look at all of them. This video is going to be a little bit longer. But before I get into that, I also want to tell you some exciting news that I am working directly with the guys over at Nodus, and I have an affiliation with them, or affiliate link for you. So if you use the code or the discount code random, all caps, I'll put it down in the description too. You type in random, you'll get 10% off your order. Now this is only right now, it's only good through December 31st. So the end of the year, 2021, it's going to get you 10% off. And then I have the affiliate with them, and that's a separate side deal. So we'll get into the specs real quick, but real quick, the Sport, these are like $450, so you get 10% off that. The Dives are around $475, and then I think a 500 one if you get a different bezel. And then this Field one is $450 as well. And then stay tuned, probably next year, I think they might do the pilot again. They'll be all 4 again, which is kind of cool. They tied all 4 of them into a series. You'll look on the case back here, and they have the 4 sector circles all tied together, showing you the relationship that the entire series has. So getting into this guy right here, this is, of course, like I said, the Sport. This is the salmon dial, which their salmon dial is way different than any other salmon dial I've seen. Typically, you'd have stronger pink hues. This one's more of a coppery pink, and then it has a nice sheen to it. So a very interesting version of a salmon dial for sure. And measurements, all of these cases are essentially the same. They just have different bezels on them and different dials and different movements, a little bit different crowns, different bracelets. So subtle differences, but the case and the main core concept of the sector series remains the same. So 38 millimeter cases on these, about 46.5 lug to lug. You can see drilled lugs, excellent brush to polish transfers on the case finishing. This one's only 12.6 millimeter thick. You have a 7.5 millimeter oversized screw down crown, 20 millimeter lug width, and their H-link bracelets are awesome. These do taper down to 18 millimeter, and then you have a fully milled out clasp with 3 micro adjust, just double pushers on there. Excellent hardware, screw links or screw pins for the links. You have quick release spring bars on the solid end links there. And then, of course, you have some articulation in that middle one. It's not a fixed one, so it doesn't really move very much. But it does transfer the short H-links over really quick, so it does lay on the back of the case back very quickly, so that'll aid in comfort, overall comfort. Let's zoom in and check this guy out. It's using the Seiko NH38 no-date movement on this guy, and then you can see there's the sector dial. It says sector on there and 100 meter. The diver will have a higher depth rating on it, but you can see excellent applied index with a 3, 6, and 9 in there as well. Nice super legible handset. Excellent knurling on the crown, so it's going to be very easy to operate as well. Whether you want to wear this on a fabric strap or switch it over to a leather or something like that, it's going to be easy to do with those quick release spring bars. Nice brushing all over the H-link. All right, let's do a wrist shot with this one, and then we'll move on to the Dive one. There it is on my 7¼ inch wrist. Nice color play, light play with this thing. So here it is next to the Dive, the Sector Dive. Oh, I guess this one says 100 meter on it as well. I don't know why I was thinking this one was 200. It says 100 on the dial. This one's using the NH38 as well, so they use a proper movement. If it's a no date, then it's going to have a no date movement. 120 click bezel. Of course, this one has the full stainless metal bezel. Oh, I went past it. We'll go back around because that'll bug me. I know it'll bug you. There we go. Excellent finishing on this. Again, same measurements. The difference with this one is at the bezel, it overhangs the case a little bit. So at the bezel, it's going to be 39 millimeter, where the case is 38. Other than that, the case dimensions are still the same. This one comes with a beads of rice center portion of the bracelet with the full polish. So it has a little more pop to it. Here's a closer look at the case back. I peeled the sticker off this one, so we can zoom in and check out the case back, and you can see kind of what they did there. Nodus Sector Series, water resist 100 meter, designed and assembled in Los Angeles, and the serial number, and then those 4 interconnecting sector rings showing you that that's part of the Sector Series. That's kind of a cool little Easter egg, or a nice feature anyway, to just show that. A little bit different handset there, you can see, fully polished. Nice arrow for the hour. And then these are more of a printed on versus an applied indexes, but you still get the 3, 6, and 9. The double bar at the 12. And here it is next to the Field, which of the Sector series, I think the Pilot and the Field are probably my favorite, but the Field right now you can still get. So I think this one, I think there's just a little bit busier dial with, you have the Arabics all the way around. And then I love the date, the way they did the date in between the 4 and the 5, but they orientated the date disc so that it still reads level at the same plane as the Arabics, instead of just having it, being rotated around. And it is a sandwich dial as well. Instead of a submerged sector dial in the center, this one's actually raised up with the reliefs cut down below. And then you have a coin edge instead of the knurling on the crown on this one. Nice bevel on the sapphire crystal. And then this one, instead of being brushed, it's blasted for the case finishing, as is the bracelet. So different finishing altogether on this guy. No brushed, it's polished and then blasted in the where the other ones are brushed in those spots. So just a beautiful dial on that. Stark white contrast on the hands against that. This dial color, the dive one's called Seafoam, this one's called Redwood. Perfect name for this one, for sure. Let me back up and do the wrist shot of the diver, and then we'll do the wrist shot of the Field, and then we'll do the loom shot. There is the Seafoam dive sector on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. I'm probably actually closer to a 7-inch wrist now, by the way. I keep saying 7 1/4, but I think I might be a little bit less than 7 1/4. There it is on the Field with the Redwood colorway and the kind of gold toned printing and second hand. And of course I have the retrospect off in the background. I still love this model too. So, all right, let's kill the lights and check the loom on all these, and then we'll close it out. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. As you can see, excellent loom on all 3 models. Super legible. And on the diver, you actually have probably C3 loom on the minute hand, with BGW9 being the rest of the loom for all 3 models. So you have 2 loom colors on the diver, and then a solid BGW9 for everything else. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Big thanks to Nodus for working with the channel and doing something that hasn't been done. That's what we're all about here. I'll see you guys on the next vid.